Hello, my name is Caesar, and my final project will be on the Hip Hop Nation. This project will talk about how hip hop has played a pivotal role in creating a sense of community among African Americans by providing a platform for creative expression and the effect hip hop has had worldwide. I feel like a good place to start would be with how this all came to fruition. This section will include information about how and where hip hop began, as well as the purpose for which it was created. First, I should start by clarifying hip hop is the backup music for rap. It is also the term for the youth culture that developed with the rise of rap music. The rap musical style began in 1973 in New York City's South Bronx, with rap pioneer Kool Herc, also known as Clive Campbell, using simple raps to cover a mix of beats, along with American DJ, rapper, and record producer Africa Bambaataa, developing a political version of rap. According to the textbook, The African American Odyssey by author Darlene Clark Hine, quote, Bambaataa merged the ideology of the Nation of Islam with the Black Panthers' cultural nationalism. Quote, Bambaataa was also the founder of the Universal Zulu Nation, a street gang turned nonviolent youth organization centered around hip hop culture. The Zulu Nation promoted competition in breakdancing, rapping, and graffiti art, and helped spread rap among poor Black and Latino neighborhoods, who had few outlets for their creative expression. Author Kamal Rashid, from the peer-reviewed journal titled Start the Revolution: Hip Hop Music and Social Justice Education, supports this idea in their report on how hip hop can serve as a strong resource for developing social justice. They state, if media exists as an agent of socialization, by the late 1980s, hip hop had become a critically significant element in the social construction of reality, particularly as it pertains to Black identity. In other words, Rashid is stating that by the end of the 80s, hip hop was one of the main sources African Americans had to create and express their narratives or their stories, especially since it's all coming from their experiences, which is why Rashid mentions that it pertains or that it relates to Black identity. The textbook further confirms this by explaining how, during the Reagan administration from 1981 to 1989, gang violence broke out over drug turf, and crack cocaine invaded communities, worsening conditions in the inner cities. Hine claims the "keeping it real" lyrics of hip-hop artists helped forge a sense of community and common destiny among a trapped generation. Now, let's focus on how rap became larger and more popular commercially in America, leading to the spread of hip-hop to many communities. Ironically, due to the fact that at first white people just seemed disinterested in the music, this made way for the first hip hop entrepreneurs to control the production, distribution, and revenues associated with the new music. Russell Wendell Simmons, an American entrepreneur and record executive, is credited with bringing hip hop into the American mainstream. He did this by first becoming a concert promoter, encouraging rap groups to stay close to the dress style and language of the inner city African American community. In 1984, he co-founded Def Jam Records, and after signing bands such as Run DMC and Public Enemy, they sold millions of copies of their albums, ultimately becoming extremely popular and successful. Simmons went on to sell his share of Def Jam Records for more than $100 million in 2000. Because rap bands such as Run DMC became so popular, the media companies started putting more eyes on them, one of them being MTV. This allowed for hip hop music to be spread to a wider demographic, which very soon included white teenagers. As a result, hip hop culture spread well beyond New York to other African American communities in other large cities, thanks to social media and radio. A prominent figure that came out of New York was rapper Tupac Shakur. The article Reaffirming African American Cultural Values by Timothy J. Brown examines how Tupac Shakur's lyrics express and reaffirm core African American values such as resilience, community, and social consciousness. Quote, Shakur, as a social critic, conveys through his music the despair, anger, and resentment that resonates with many African Americans. Shakur's ability to articulate these strong feelings and emotions in words is a further characteristic of Black protest music. Brown is essentially saying that Tupac's lyricism serves as an outlet or a way for conveying the struggles and triumphs of the African American experience. As Brown mentions, Black protest music actually refers to the expression of resistance and the ability to convey the heartache and the pain that Blacks have endured throughout history. Tupac's mother was a Black Panther, which gives Tupac a legitimacy to the struggle that few rappers can match. Given that during the 1960s, the Black Panther movement grew due to increasing frustration by some African Americans with the traditional civil rights movement. To add on to that, Benita Dillard's article from the Association for the Study of African American Life and History stated, if African American students were exposed in the classroom to the historical content of spirituals, slave songs, work songs, and other traditional genres of African American music, they would be able to get even more out of hip hop by recognizing how many hip hop artists make strong references and connections to historical events, issues, and figures. I find this not only very helpful, but also very true, because I myself have understood a reference to a cultural event that was mentioned in a song, and being able to catch that reference almost solidified it into my mind, and every time I thought of the song, I remembered the reference, which is exactly what Tupac and many other rappers were doing with their music. So people could feel that familiarity and that moment of, hey, I felt that too. That gives people a sense of camaraderie or comfort, which allows them to remember that feeling and replay and celebrate it through the music. With that said, hip hop and rap music continues to grow and influence different subgenres, and the impact it has had on various other cultures across the world is evident. The African American Odyssey mentions that hip hop has influenced music worldwide, particularly across the African regions. Well, a concert review by Henoch Rita in Johannesburg, South Africa, focuses on a performance aimed at reviving a specific style or message within rap music. It gives the accounts of members of a rap group, name not specified, in Johannesburg that want to convey positive messages that preach about history, identity, and humanity, and redeem hip hop culture. I already saw the influence rap had on this young artist who named himself Jay-Z Hun, after the American rapper Jay-Z. When asked to comment on the event, Jay-Z Hun says, we just want to show people how much hip hop will be important to echo important messages that can impact the entire nation, particularly the youth. I could not find any photos of that concert, but here we see Casper Nyovest's concert at F&B Stadium in 2017, which had 68,000 attendees and 72,000 ticket sales. And it actually broke Eminem's record for the most attended hip hop concert in South Africa. This is just to show how popular and successful hip hop has become in South Africa in just the span of a few years, given how it was not supported widely except by younger demographics. To build off of that sentiment, an essay by Stephanie Shonikan from the Journal of Pan-African Studies proves how American hip-hop has influenced communities across the world. Quote, there is a sense of belonging that is nurtured within this new Nigerian generation, which may be attributed to their enthusiastic embrace of African American hip-hop culture, brought about by the onslaught of imported images that have come through the internet and cable television. Well, thanks to fast-moving news on social media and cable television, the influence of American rap and hip hop has resonated with the Nigerian youth in a way that can be thought of as a gift. Throughout the text, I noticed that Shonakan expresses the idea of the gift of hip hop music, stating, "This gift has given Nigerian musicians a fresh format that allows them to continue to create hybrids out of a combination of hip hop and indigenous genres like highlife and juju. These genres come from different ethnic groups like the Igbo and the Yoruba. Juju was essentially by and for Yoruba people, and highlife music was most associated with the eastern Igbo region. According to Shonikan, Nigerian hip hop breaks that tradition by appealing to many different demographics of the Nigerian youth, bringing them together and connecting them through this music. In the end, the influence of hip hop has not been limited to the United States. As seen in the examples from South Africa and Nigeria, American hip hop has acted as both an inspiration and a blueprint for musicians worldwide, providing new forms of musical expression and allowing the inclusion of indigenous musical traditions. Starting in the South Bronx as a creative outlet for African American and Latino youth, hip hop, with rap as its main voice, quickly became a powerful tool for forging a sense of shared identity and experience among African Americans. Thank you for listening.